We're here this morning with Denise Mercado, owner of Fayetteville Hyperbarics Holistic Wellness Center. And Denise, you've got a compelling story about why you started the center to begin with, and I thought you'd like to share it with our viewers.
Yes. First, I want to tell you all the people that we've helped so far since we opened in 2013. We've helped a lot of veterans, over 40 veterans with traumatic brain injury, PTSD, and other combat-related injuries. We've helped children with autism. We've seen some great results with our kids. Also, people with fibromyalgia and so many other conditions. I mean, the list is very long. But I'm here today to tell you why we started a center, why we were interested, and why Hyperbarics became part of our lives. It started actually in 1982 with our youngest son, Danny, who was at 6 months of age, diagnosed with Hflu meningitis. And that kind of threw us into the disability world. And shortly after leaving the hospital, we were in the hospital for 30 days. The doctors really didn't give us any hope. And of course, this was 1982, before you could Google anything. So I spent a whole lot of time in medical libraries, sneaking in while he was in the hospital, flipping pages and looking for something to do for him when he left the hospital. My goal, as the goal is for the center, is recovery. What did I have to do to help my son? And there really wasn't any recovery options offered to him except for 1 time a week of physical therapy. Yet the doctors were saying to me he was hit very hard by this illness. So I was flipping through the pages and I found a therapy called Domen Delicata therapy, which is a patterning therapy that where you move a child in a crawling motion. And those of you that are as old as me, you probably have seen the 60 Minutes review of that years ago. And it is very helpful for children. It requires 50 volunteers because you have to do this 6 times a day, 6 days a week. And we made that happen in Fort Lewis, where we were stationed. And one day, about a month or so after, the newspaper came to us because we were the only ones in town that were doing this therapy. They came to us, did a big, beautiful spread about all the volunteers that were coming together to help us do this, took pictures of Danny as he was going through the therapy, and they put it in the newspaper. When I took my son to the pediatrician's office shortly after that, that newspaper article, those beautiful pictures, was on the bulletin board with a sign that pointed and said, "Not approved by the American Medical Association." So I went in very teary-eyed and angry to the physician and said, "Why did this happen?" And he said, "It's not approved by the American Medical Association." And I said, "Well, what is?" And there really wasn't much that was approved. And with his head held down, he said to me, "Miss Mercado, you are going to have to accept your child's condition." And it made me very angry that someone would go straight into acceptance without even trying for recovery, and wouldn't even think about going outside the box. So we knew kind of that outside the box was where we needed to go. Although because it was the time and no Google and that sort of thing, we never really found outside the box. So we created a business back in 2002 to help children like our son, supported these kids throughout the state of North Carolina to help their families keep their children at home. So we brought in support staff to help with feeding and bathing and that sort of thing. But we never really went into the recovery mode because we could never really find that therapy. But after my son passed away in 2007, a child that was supposed to be 2 years old lived to be almost 25. Then we started meeting parents in our business who were young, energetic, just like I was in 1982, but they had the Google and the internet. And they found Hyperbaric Oxygen Therapy because they were looking, just like I was looking, for recovery and rehabilitation for their kids. So that got us real interested. And I started looking and researching and seeing that there was documentation and great testimonials out there about the benefits of hyperbarics, not just for children, but also for veterans and for adults with a variety of conditions, how this treatment, this therapy is a first choice treatment in Europe and Canada, but for us, it's a last resort in our country, yet very effective in lots of places. And people were traveling all over to get to these clinics. So my husband and I decided that we needed it here in Fayetteville. There are tremendous amount of veterans that need this support. There are also an awful lot of children with autism and cerebral palsy in this area that need this support. Along with other conditions, there's over 50 conditions. There's Lyme disease, there's fibromyalgia, neuropathy. There's 14 conditions that are approved by the FDA in our country, and one of them is non-healing wounds. All the hospitals that have hyperbaric chambers are doing non-healing wounds. That's a very large population because of our diabetes population. But why wait until you have a non-healing wound to receive some help? If you've got neuropathy and foot issues and pain in your foot, you need a couple of things. You need hyperbarics to get all those symptoms taken care of before it turns into a wound. But then you also need nutrition counseling and some help in changing your lifestyle so that you don't wind up with a non-healing wound and people talking about amputation. So that's why the center was created. It was created so we can help as many people as possible. We've expanded it to be a holistic wellness center, and now we have all those pieces here that can provide the support for people who are looking for relief, recovery, and rehabilitation for chronic issues. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing. Tell us how people can call you or get in touch with you.
Absolutely. Well, we just have a new website, and it's Fayetteville, HBOT.com. You'll find information about all of our practitioners on that website and all the services that they are offering. And our phone number is 910-920-1165.
That's great. Thank you again, Denise.
Thank you.